Trump tells Fox News his Supreme Court list is down to 5 potential picks. The announcement will happen Friday or possibly Saturday. And we go live on our SuperTalk TV. That's supertalk.fm/watch with the one and only Ron Rychlak, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at Ole Miss, an all-around good guy, author, and I could tell you all the other things, but we don't have time. Boy, the stash is looking good there. Hello, can you hear me?
It's spent a lot of time at home. Things are good.
Yeah. Are you still? You're not still quarantined, are you? Can you hear me?
Not officially, but my 2 daughters who live are staying away from the house.
I got you. I think our delay system here is a little bit more than normal, but let's see if we can do this. The first thing is, did you hear any of our conversation with Russ Latino?
I heard it all. Russ is a former student of mine. I like him a lot, and I agree with pretty much everything he said.
When you talk about the possibilities of packing the court, but first of all, let me get your overview of where we are and the historic nature of this moment, and from your perspective, Ron.
Well, I mean, it's really fascinating. You know, we always talk about how if you make a political move, it's going to come back and bite you later. This happened 7 years ago. Up until 2013, it took 60 senators to confirm a nominee. In 2016, Harry Reid, the Democrats got fed up with Republicans who were thought to be obstructing things, and they did what Trent Lott labeled the nuclear option, which reduced the required 60 to 50. And now here we are. The Republicans need 50. They got 53 senators. If it was prior to the rule that the Democrats adopted in 2013, this wouldn't even be on the table.
No. Holding those 3 together, of course, if it came to 50, then Pence would be the person to do this, would he not?
Exactly. So you're looking at.
Yeah.
Well, I just can Trump put together and hold all of the Republican senators except for up to 3? He could lose up to 3.
Well, when you hear all of this stuff, it was kind of amusing to hear people, and now I'm just on social media. Bill Clinton blast McConnell, Republicans who want to fill the seat, as superficially hypocritical. Well, what is superficially hypocritical is that Bill Clinton is actually speaking about anything right now, number one. And I thought to myself, and I kind of want to convey this to the audience out there, is all of this is normal. All of this hypocrisy and all of this angst that's manufactured. Oh, my God, you shouldn't do this. You should wait to the next administration to do it. I thought for a moment it would really be weird if they weren't saying anything.
It really would. Look, it's the constitutional obligation of the president to make a nomination. The Senate has advice and consent. There's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about election year. In fact, in 2016, Justice Ginsburg herself said, quote, "There's nothing in the Constitution that says the president stops being the president in his last year." And she also said, the Senate's job is to vote on the nominee. It's politics at this point. We try to separate the court from politics, but at this point, It's political calculation.
Do you, like Russ, think it's going to be one of these 2 women?
I do, absolutely. And I think if it were not in this unusual moment, probably Barrett would be more likely. But I think given the circumstances right now, I think probably Barbara Lagoa is probably more likely. She's from Florida, which Florida's never had a Supreme Court justice, I read. So there's a lot of political desire to get someone from there. That state's in play. That would be good for Trump. Also, she's a Latina, so you have a minority woman as well. Her parents were born in Cuba.
How old is she?
She's around late 40s, 50s. They're both about the same age.
Very, very young person.
I believe.
Yeah. When you go back and you look, your assessment of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and again, my guest is Ron Rychlak, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at Ole Miss. When you go back and you look at this, your thoughts on Justice Ginsburg?
And she led an incredible life. Obviously, there's certain issues that I would come down different than her in terms of how we interpret the Constitution. But she was a real person. I mean, that's one of the reasons she and Justice Scalia were actually good friends, despite the ideological differences that they had. They were noted for being good friends, and she was a real person. And so we disagree on important things, important constitutional things, but you could still have that kind of a relationship.
Rather historic moment when the news reporter caught the president coming. I think he was coming off the plane or going to the plane where he was in transit, and he did not know that she had died. And you could see visibly the reaction of the president, and I think that'll be captured for a long time. And you have problems again understanding that when you leave this earth, what did you leave behind? And in the 2000 case of Stenberg versus Carhart, it focused on the Nebraska state law that outlawed partial birth abortion. At the time, there were only 29 other states that banned partial birth abortion. So her vote in there leaves her legacy that she actually expanded that.
She did. And, again, that's a point where I strongly would disagree with her. On the same time, a lot of her supporters, that's one of the things that they admire about her, is they believe that she protected the right to abortion. That's a battle that's going on throughout the United States that we haven't resolved yet. And the Supreme Court in 1973 thought it had resolved things once and for all by saying it's constitutional, but people can look and see that that's not really in the Constitution. That's an interpretive matter, and that's why the battle has continued on all these years.
Watching this election get closer and closer, what are your thoughts as far as the mail-in balloting is concerned?
Russ said that he thought it could go either way in terms of who it helps or hurts. I'm worried about the opportunity for fraud. It's really what I'm worried about more than anything else. And there's the opportunity to get ballots, to fill out ballots, to hide ballots. If we want to try and dump ballots that are coming in from a particular area. So that does concern me significantly.
What are the legal? What legally can the Republicans do then, as far as in the local districts at the grassroots levels, to maybe file injunctions, to file some type of legal action as far as some of those ballots in local elections, or in some of the local precincts, I should say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of any kind of interference already is illegal. So getting an injunction isn't really going to do much. What you need is poll watchers. You need people to volunteer to be there on the ground just to make sure everything's done fairly. That's what's important. And you got to be in all of the areas, not just in those areas where we think everything's going to go smoothly. You got to go into the areas where things are not going to go smoothly. Poll watchers are very important. So
but I don't hang on. I don't understand this because the poll watcher's not going to be there when the mail's coming in, and when a guy delivers 5,000 ballots from the mail truck, and who's going to what a poll? Will poll watchers be able to go over those?
I think they have to be able to. I mean, I think that's got to be part of it. Yes. So I'm not talking about just election day. I'm talking about someone there when the bags come in. Exactly.
Mike Watson said yesterday, a couple of days ago, if you're interested in serving as a poll watcher for the November 3rd election, Secretary of State office encourages you. I think we need some poll watchers in the state because of COVID-19. According to Watson's office, Mississippi's expecting a poll worker shortage. And if you want to be a poll watcher, go to their website. And we need you to avoid the shortage. Secretary of State's office has created an online form for anybody interested in serving as a poll watcher, so you need to do that. I thought I'd throw that little PSA in there. Overview of COVID-19 and Ole Miss and the campus. What's your thoughts? Can you hold them from when we come back?
Sure thing.
Okay, we got a quick break here with Associate Dean of Academic Affairs from Ole Miss, Ron Rychlak. We'll do that when we return. And as a matter of fact, if you smell that crisp air out there, you will smell football in supertalk.fm/watch. It is the one and only, the inimitable Ron Rychlak, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs at Ole Miss. You talk about disinformation. When's your next book going to be out?
Pachepa and I are working on a new edition of Disinformation. We're just finalizing a contract right now. But yeah, I'll tell you what. We published Disinformation in 2013, and the word was not known at that time. I literally, the word processor would change the word if you typed in disinformation, and now it's everywhere.
Well, it's not, and we talk about it on steroids, but it is, and it's at a point where I don't know what could turn it around, Ron. It just seems like it's got this centrifugal force, and it's spinning out of control.
Well, it is, and it's a matter of we have to, as consumers of information, deal with things differently than we did 10 years ago. It's like the change when the printing press came along. I mean, everything is different now.
It almost needs to be some type of course, psychological training in schools these days to let us be able to accept that or reject that one way or the other. But I think the closest we came is when we were young. What was the old adage? Believe nothing you heard and only half of what you saw. And I think that's probably more correct today than it's ever been. Let's talk about what's going on as far as on the campus is concerned and COVID and the ball games coming up. What's it look like?
Well, I mean, campus is beautiful. We're geared up and we're ready to have fans in for the game on Saturday. We're playing Florida at 11 o'clock. There are still tickets available, and we're very excited about it. I'll tell you, I've been in meetings. I am the faculty athletics representative at Ole Miss, so I've been in. And I'm on the executive committee of the Southeastern Conference. So I've been involved in meetings all summer long about how to do this safely for the players and for the fans. There's all kinds of protocols and testing, and I got two meetings later today to nail down last minute stuff. Yeah. But I think we can do it. I think, in fact, the SEC led the way. The Big Ten has followed now after saying they couldn't do it. They've seen what we put in place, and they're coming along. So I think, football can be back and people can enjoy it, and encourage people, maybe make a trip up to Oxford this weekend.
What would be the total capacity as far as tickets are concerned?
Total capacity, we're at 25% of the normal, which basically leaves us at, around 16,000, something like that. And of course, a lot of people are uncertain and nervous, and so which means there's an inventory of some tickets still left.
So if you want to go there are still some tickets there. What will they see, though, as far as out of normal? I mean, you're going to get your temperature taken, probably nothing more than you would have at the office now, as far as the regimen of some sanitizers and masks and get your temperature taken, and that's basically it, isn't it?
Well, there are a few things. I mean, the band and cheerleaders will not be on the field; they'll be in the stands. The concessions will be open, but it'll be grab and go type stuff instead of the other kind of situations we have. But my wife and I on Saturday went to the soccer game here on campus. It was the first event like that we've had on campus, and it was really fun. It was great to be back and seeing the competitors again in the games. Game didn't come out the way we wanted it, but it was fun to be out.
Yeah, but again, if we do what the experts are telling us we need to do, wear a mask, cover yourself if you've got a sneeze or a cough, or if you don't feel good, stay away from crowds, and use the sanitizers and things such as that, we ought to be okay.
Well, that's it, and that's how campus is too. I mean, kids came back. I've got a 19-year-old sophomore here at Ole Miss who tested positive. She came back and she was with some friends, and for her it was 2 weeks of isolation, and she's back and she's full speed, going charging ahead again. So it's there's a reality to it, but you're trying to be really careful, and most of us seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, you stayed away from it. You haven't had it yet?
I've not had it. I've been tested a couple times. Tested once for active and once for whether I'd had it before. I gave blood, and they did a test for free if you give blood.
Hang on, the vaccine is coming, so
right.
Hopefully sooner than later. Any final thoughts, sir, as far as the Supreme Court or anything else?
You know, you think of that famous Chinese proverb, may you live in interesting times. These are fascinating times.
We've been blessed.
We've
been blessed. Yeah, we have been blessed.
Have been.
So the key from this interview is that there are still tickets left. It's going to be one heck of a game. I'm looking at the forecast. It looks like it's going to be relatively cool, fallish. Should be good. Get your tickets.
Yeah, what more could you want, right? Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think people will be excited to see stuff coming back, and Oxford would like to see people coming to Oxford. It's a great place to visit in the fall.
Looking forward to that new book when it's out. Please let us know.
I absolutely will. I'm looking forward to it too. But it's as you know, but your listeners may not. It's the former head of foreign intelligence from communist Romania is the co-author, and there's fascinating insight, and there's some neat stuff new stuff that's developed over the last 7 years since our first edition. This
is the guy that had a bounty on his head and also was in the witness protection program. Is he still there?
Still there. Yeah, it's really pretty interesting. I've gotten to know him better than I did 7 years ago. We basically wrote this book not knowing each other except through email. And I used to joke that I knew Superman, but I did not know Clark Kent. And I've gotten to know Clark Kent a little bit now. And he's an amazing man, amazing life. You know, living your life, you and your wife living a life, in essence, under a new identity your entire time, with knowing that there could be people out to get you.
Well, we know that, we can't say this, but we know he's located somewhere in Essequibo County. That's all we know. So.
What?
I'm just kidding. There's nobody in Essequibo County. So.
Oh, okay.
But if you were doing a witness protection program,
that'd be the place to hide
it. That would be the place you'd go to. Are you still the liaison as far as the Vatican's concerned?
I am. So the UN's doing so much stuff now over the internet. We can't. Usually, I'm up for a week in New York at the UN, and they're going to do that online now. They canceled that kind of stuff, so I won't have the travel. But that's also an interesting world to have a toe dipped in. There's all kinds of stuff.
That's a whole new program, is it not?
That's a whole new program. There's a whole new bunch of stuff going on there.
Oh, it is incredible. We got to get you back and talk about that, too. Ron, it's always good talking to you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Good luck coming up on Saturday. What time's the game start?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock kickoff.
There you go. Be good to hear our guys on the air again. Get it going, man. We need it. Get back to some normality here. Good to have you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Stay safe.